the YouTube channel. My name is Ehinome Odion and I recently just moved from Nigeria to the United States to further my education. I'm currently studying for my master's in the United States and I have gotten a couple of questions from you guys on the channel regarding my school, my visa, my travel process and everything that I did. So in this video I am going to be sharing all the detailed information and I hope I'm able to make this video as informative as possible so that I share the detailed information with you guys. Let me share the tea and let me share everything with you guys, everything that I did that led me to this very point. And just a disclaimer for you guys, I am not an immigration agent, I am not a travel agent. I am going to be sharing information based on my personal experience and just putting you guys on a thing or two. So if this is something you're interested in, please keep watching. And also I would like to say that you guys should be aware that everybody's journey is different. That's one thing I have realized. My process might be different from your process. Your process might be different from another friend's process. So when you guys watch videos on things like this, always have that at the back of your mind. This video is just going to guide you through the process and everything that you need to know about this journey, traveling to the United States to study. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. And yes, before I forget, if you're new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe. Guys, we're growing, the channel is growing really well and I'm excited about that. So if you're new, please make sure you subscribe. So let's get right into the video. So I personally started my journey in 2024. I think I started in January of 2023. Yeah, that was when I was done with school and I did my house job. That's my internship. I always knew that I wanted to go for my master's, right? My parents were aware of that and we had that in view. We had that plan. So the first thing I did was to go online. Guys, I'm a pharmacist. I studied pharmacy, right? But my master's is in health informatics. So the first thing I did was to decide on the course that I want to do for my master's. I know that I wanted to diversify a bit, but one thing I did not want to do was to leave the healthcare field. I mean, my pharmacy is really important to me. I'm a pharmacist and I intend to keep on being a pharmacist. So the first thing I did was to decide what course I wanted to do. I did a research on different courses I could do that are related to like healthcare and all of that, and I saw a couple of courses. Then I finally came to the conclusion that I wanted to study health informatics. I reached out to a couple of people that were doing my course because I knew some people that were studying health informatics. I reached out to them and I got my information. So guys, number one, like I said, first thing you have to do is to decide the course that you want to do. So when I was sure of the course I wanted to do, I went on Google and I searched for schools offering masters in health informatics. I also like to let you guys know that my search was narrowed to the United States because that is where I've always wanted to go for my master's. I didn't apply to schools in Canada or in UK. My search was strictly just for the United States, and that's a risky thing to do. I'll just let you guys know. That's a very risky thing to do. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's always good to have many options. So I went online and I searched for schools that were offering the course that I wanted to study. I did my research and I got a list of schools and I tailored it down to the ones that I felt like met my preference and other things. It's always good to like keep information. When I started this project, I had a book and a pen that I was writing down the schools and everything. So after narrowing down the list of schools I wanted to apply to, I started my application process. And for my application process, I needed my statement of purpose, I needed reference. Most schools require 3 references from academia and professional reference. That's reference from the school you attended and where you're currently working. I also needed to get my transcript. So I attended University of Lagos. I got my transcript from Unilag. I got my degree certificate, and there are some schools that require you to write IELTS, but I kind of like tailored my research down to schools that considered Nigeria as an English-speaking country. So I did not have to do that. So I wrote my statement of purpose myself and I had it reviewed by my brother and my friends. I got my transcript, I did all of that, and I sent in my application. Also, just to add, there are some schools that require you to apply with your official transcript, while some schools require you to apply with your unofficial transcript. Then when you get your admission, you then submit your official transcript. So After getting my admission, I got my admission for fall semester last year, but I deferred to spring semester of 2024 due to personal reasons and certain things at home. I deferred my admission. So guys, after getting your admission, you then realize that there are a lot of things that you'd have to do to keep going forward, to keep forging ahead. So after getting my admission, the next thing I had to do, oh yeah, before I mention that, I would also like you to know that it is always important for you to have like a valid international passport. I had my passport after getting my admission set because I had some issues with my passport about my name. My first name and my middle name were mixed. My middle name was put as my first name and my first name was put as my middle name. And I was going to go ahead with that, but my dad was like, I'm still young and I would need to apply for a lot of things later on, so it is better we correct that information early on than just leave it like that and later on and after having issues with it. So it's always good to make sure that you have your international passport ready for you. So my international passport was a bit delayed because of that reason, but eventually I got it. So after getting my admission, next thing I had to do, I decided on the school I was going to attend. I decided to go with Indiana University. That's my name of my school is Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis. It used to be like a combination of two schools, Indiana University and Purdue University. But I think from July this year, they're splitting back to just Indiana University and Purdue University, depending on the course you're offering. And the course I'm offering is in Indiana University. So I can say that the school I attend is Indiana University, Indianapolis. So I picked this school for me to go to. And before I even started this journey, I did not know of a state called Indiana in the United States, because I would also like to just tell people that if you have relatives staying in the United States and you don't mind, I think it's a good option for you to go somewhere that you have a relative. Because you know, when people say, oh, abroad life is lonely, abroad is this, sometimes you think that they are just talking too much or they are just doing it for social media. It's actually true. Originally, I wanted to go to Maryland because that is where I have my uncle. That's where my dad's brother stays. But the problem was the school and the course. I wasn't getting it in Maryland, so I needed to like pick an option. Do I want to go to a good school that will offer me the course I'm doing, or I want to stay close to family? So I decided to go ahead with Indiana, and that is how I ended up here. But if you have the option of picking a school that is close to family, I would say you should do it. You don't have to necessarily stay with your family, but at least you can always know that, oh, I just need to take the bus and go there or spend some time there and you'll be fine. So if you have the option, I'll say pick somewhere close to family so that you can always breathe in and breathe out. So after getting my admission, I went through my admission letter. I reached out to my school. I read the requirements that I needed, everything that was given to me. I got a part scholarship of just a little bit of my fee. So I got something like that. I'm still hoping to apply for more scholarships and I hope I get them. So after doing that, I got my proof of fund from my school. So basically your proof of fund is like a calculated amount of money that I think how they calculate it is your fee for a year, estimated amount of money that you think you would need for housing and feeding for a year. Basically money that can sustain you for a year. I think, yeah, that's how they calculate proof of fund. So everybody's proof of fund might be different. Your proof of fund depends on your fee and I think location too and all of that, because of like housing, prices of housing and everything like that. So my proof of fund most likely be different from your proof of fund. Your friend's proof of fund will be different from another person's proof of fund, because if somebody has a large amount of scholarship, that money is already taken out of their proof of fund. So that's why I said that everybody's proof of fund differs. Your school will be the one to tell you how much your proof of fund is, and I think most times they usually require a bank statement of about 6 months. The bank statement I used was 6 months. So after getting my proof of fund, I submitted my bank statement to my school. 6 month bank statement. I submitted it to my school and I think they got back to me in 2 or 3 days. It didn't even take time. After some, you need to submit your proof of fund because that is how you get a document called your I-20. Your I-20 is literally everything you need as a student in the United States. Okay, yeah, with your international passport. So I submitted my proof of fund and in about 3 days, I got my I-20. On your I-20, you see your name, you see the year you're starting your program end dates, the amount that is there, your fee. It's like a really detailed document. I can't remember everything that is written on the I-20, but if you go through it eventually, you would see everything that is written on your I-20. And guys, your I-20 is very important. If you get your I-20 and you sign and you do everything, please do not misplace your I-20. It is a very important document. So now, after getting my I-20, this is when you now get to the part where you're like, you start praying to God I pray to God every time. Rather, this is when you now get to the part where you're getting tense because you've gotten your I-20. After getting your I-20, now you've gotten to the visa application process. So before you start applying for a visa, either before you go for your visa or not either, you need to have it before you go for your visa. You need to pay your SEVIS fee. There's something called SEVIS fee. I think it's student exchange visitor, if I'm gonna say rubbish, you need to pay your SEVIS fee. So after getting my I-20, the next thing I needed to do was to pay my SEVIS fee. Service fee then was about $350. I don't know if it's still the same thing now or if it has been changed. And I think your service fee cannot be paid from Nigeria. It has to be paid by someone in the United States. I hope I'm getting that correct. I knew that I could not pay it from Nigeria. So my auntie did my service fee for me. She made the payment for me here in the United States and she sent me my receipt. So after getting my service fee receipt, I uploaded it on one website. There was a website I was supposed to go to that I would upload my service fee receipt. Yeah, there's something about that. So when you upload your service fee receipts, you are good to go. So now let's get right into the visa application process. Like I said again from the beginning, my journey is different from your journey, and you and your friend's journey, people's journey is like this. So everybody's journey is different. So eventually I started my visa application process. I think I started, I think was it August or October? August, September. I think September or October was when I eventually started applying for my visa. So there's an application form that you fill. I've forgotten the name of the website. There's an application form that you fill when you're applying for a US visa. Whether you're going for a visitor's visa, any type of visa, you need to fill the application form. It's called your DS-160. DS-160 is also very important. When filling your DS-160, guys, please, I'm begging you, make sure that you fill your DS-160 by yourself. Or even if somebody else is filling it for you, make sure that the information that the person is filling on your DS-160, you are the person giving out that information. But just so that you know, when filling your DS-160, please fill it by yourself. And I also like to put out there that I did my application myself from the beginning to the end. I didn't use an agent, I didn't use anybody. See, one thing I realized in life is that all you need is the right information. Google out the information, go on YouTube, watch YouTube videos, go on Google everything, you will get the information. Information is key in life. All you need most times is information. A lot of people don't do well in this process because they don't have the right information, they don't have access to the right information. You need to learn to source for information when you are doing processes like this, when you are taking like a big step. Always source for information. So I filled my DS-160 myself, and I was very careful when filling my DS-160. So after filling my DS-160, I decided to create a profile so that I can apply for my visa. There's something I would like to mention here before I go further. I already had a visitor's visa. I had a valid US visitor's visa before I started applying for my student visa. So let me put that out there. I had a valid visitor's visa. Then I decided to also apply for a student visa. So I went on the website where I created my profile. I already had an existing profile because I think I renewed my visitor's visa earlier on last year too, and I got 5 years. So I had the profile already. So all I needed to do was to go back to my profile and start a new application process. I had an existing profile, so all I needed to do was to log into my profile and start a fresh application, because now the visa categories are different. Originally, I have a visitor's visa. What I need right now is a student visa. So I started my application process, and during your application process, they will ask you for your service fee receipt number. They will ask you for a couple of information. When filling out all this information, please make sure you're filling out the right information and take out time to understand every bit of what you're filling out. If you don't understand what the questions you are being asked, please ask somebody. Don't just go and assume and go and start filling anything. So I filled the application form, and I think after filling the application form, yes guys, before I forget, before you start filling your application form, you need to pay your visa fee receipts. Yes, your visa fee receipt is very important. I paid my visa fee receipt using GT Bank because I think GT Bank is the bank that they approve for visa fee. Mine was easy for me because I use GT Bank, so I could pay my fee online with my mobile app. So if you don't use GT Bank, you can walk into the bank and go and pay your fee. I paid my fee with my mobile app. I think then I paid about 130 something thousand naira for my visa fee. And it's funny because when I applied for my visitor's visa to renew it, I paid 70 something thousand naira, guys. But after then, I know that they said visa, yeah, I paid 70 something thousand naira. So the reason why I paid 130 something thousand naira later on when I was applying for my student visa, in the space of how many months, was because of dollar rates. Dollar rates increased and bank increased their bank rates too. So it was no longer 70 something thousand naira, it was 130 something thousand naira. Up to today, that thing still baffles me because it was in a short time. Okay, maybe not so short, but it was in less than 6 months I had applied for my visitor's visa. So my visa fee was about 130 something thousand naira. But I think currently now it's 150 something thousand naira because they increased their visa fee. I'm not sure, but I'm going to attach the right amount so that I'm not giving out false information. But when I applied for mine, I paid 130 something thousand naira. That was my visa fee. You would need your visa fee. You would need to have paid your visa fee because when you start filling out the application form that allows you to finally apply for your visa, they will ask you for your visa fee receipt. So after I put my visa fee receipt, that was the last stage. I now saw a message that says I will be informed, something about I will be informed later on when I can now choose a date. This is when it all started to get scary for me because I was so confused. Because when I had done my visitor's visa, I saw that information, right? But then I got a mail the following day that I could pick a date. But after seeing that message on the website, I did not get a mail regarding me picking dates till about 2 weeks later. During that 2 weeks, I had like a lot of emotions going on. I was like, do I decide to change my location from Lagos to Abuja? Because people are always like, Abuja had better days, that going for interview in Abuja is easier, is less tense. Something about the visa officers there being a bit friendly or the environment just being better than Lagos. So I had that thought and I spoke to my mom about it and my sister. And we're just like, just relax and just calm down. Let's just see what will happen. And yes, before I forget, I was on a lot of groups. I was in a lot of groups, WhatsApp, Telegram, where people always post information about visa dates and everything. So guys, like I said, information is key. Make sure you join groups. If you have access to any WhatsApp group, any Telegram group, make sure you're on the group because there you'll be seeing people dropping updates on visa dates and everything. So I was scared, but because I was in a group, I saw that I wasn't the only one that thing was happening to. It was like that, and I kind of like formed like a pattern that it was going to be like in 2 weeks. Because the day I submitted my application, that Friday, that was the day that a lot of people got mails telling them that they could go ahead to now pick a date. So I was like, maybe like the following Friday. Following Friday came, nothing happened. I was still like, oh God, please. I was make sure you pray. Prayer is key in everything that you do. I was praying about it, and the following Friday, I got a mail. I was like, I kind of like just knew that it was going to come on that Friday. I got a mail telling me that, okay, I can now go ahead and pick a date on the website. So I picked a date for the following month, yeah. So this was already in October. I picked a date this was in September. I wanted to pick a date for October, but there was no date in October, but there was date in November. So it all happened really fast for me because, coming from people telling you that, oh, it is difficult to get dates, and me just going on the website and being able to see November. I also think it was because they had released dates for spring semester. I like to think that was the case. So there were a lot of dates for November and December. So I picked November because my program was starting in January. I picked November because I'm like, let me just pick November and get on with my interview. Let me do my interview early enough. So I picked a date. Guys, I kind of like stopped because my phone storage was full. This is a sign for me to get a camera. God, from my mouth to God's ears. But yeah, so I think I stopped where I said I was able to pick a date. So I picked a date in November, and this is now when the journey gets a bit more interesting. Is that the correct English? But this is where the journey gets more interesting. And I would be 100% honest with you guys. I prepared really well for my interview. I prepared for my interview like I was preparing for one of my pharmacy exams, or maybe not that serious, but I did prepare for my interview very well. Like I said, I was in WhatsApp groups, I was in a Telegram group, so I had all those resources available to me. That's why I always tell you guys, seek for information and make sure you ask questions. Shout out to the admins of the group, because in those groups they usually hold like mock sessions where people just come on they hold like mock sessions. It's kind of like a mock interview where they ask you questions that they think, where they ask you like similar questions that you'll be asked during your interview. So those type of sessions were usually held a lot, and I attended a lot of them. But personally for me, one thing I did was that I really did speak during the interview, like really did want to be interviewed, because during all those interviews it kind of like made me scared, because I'm like, why is it so serious? Or you know, like the way they ask people questions and the answer they give, people that used to ask the questions, they used to be like really strict. So it kind of like made me scared, and I just told myself that I was not going to be interviewed during any of the mock sessions. I would just be there, I would get all the information that I need, I would listen well. But I think on 2 different occasions I did get interviewed. I think one, and that was because that particular mock interview, there were just like 5 people on the Zoom meeting. It was just like 5 people, so I felt like more comfortable. So I felt like a bit comfortable. So that was the first time I got interviewed, and I got positive response back from them, and they're like, oh, I know how to speak really well, so I should just get my acts together and I would be fine. So I did prepare for my interview. I wrote out like possible questions that they could ask me. What I'll just say is that I prepared really well for my interview. I researched on like possible questions that I could be asked. I was on group chats, I was on Telegram groups, getting all the tea, getting all the information. And aside holding those like regular meetings, regular Zoom meetings or those groups, also there were also cases whereby like people go for their interview and they come back and they drop their transcripts. People write like, oh, how their interview went, questions that they were asked and all of that. People would drop that there. So it kind of like just gives you an insight into what you have ahead of you. So if you know that you're in this process and you're not asking questions, you're not in any group, try to join groups, try to watch videos, and you will get the information that you need. So fast forward to the D-Day of my interview. Yes, the final day, the day that determines if you're going to get it or if you're not going to get it. My interview was for 9 a.m. I think 9 or 9:30 a.m. and I left my house really early for my interview, and I got there in time. So yeah, let me tell you guys the documents that you would need to take with you for your interview. Number 1, you need your international passport. I mean, why are you going there without an international passport? So obviously you need your international passport, you need your I-20, you need your visa fee receipts, you need your service fee receipts, you need your statement of accounts, that's your proof of funds. Yeah, just 160. If there's any other document I did not mention now, I'm going to write it on the screen so that you guys have like detailed information. So I got there for the interview, and guys, I was tensed. I don't even know why. I have been to an interview before, so I don't know why I was tense. I have been to an interview earlier on when I was younger for like a family visa, me and my family, and we did get it. So I was kind of like tense because it's kind of like an open room where you go and people just line up and you get in front of like the officer that is going to be attending to you. So you basically can hear the questions that you're asking the person in front of the interviewer. So it's just an open space where you can hear, and I was kind of like tense. And one thing I did was that I put my mind to it, and I said that the way I have prepared for this thing, that was how I was going to deliver. Because when you get in there, you hear people telling you different things. Oh, they're denying this person because the person is talking too much, or that person will say, oh, it's because the person is not even speaking at all. So when you go in there and you have prepared well, just put your mind to what you have already prepared. As far as you've done your preparation, you've done the work. Just go in there, pray to God, be very prepared, be early so that you are not tense, and just go in for your interview. And I will be honest, the day I went for my interview, a lot of people did get denied. I'm not even going to lie. I think the number of people that got denied, the ratio of the number of people that got denied compared to the people that got approved, it was like 9-1 or 8-2, 9-1, something like that. Very few people got approved on that day. So yeah, to the questions I was asked, the first question I was asked was, what is my purpose of travel to the United States? And I told her, oh, I was going to study for my master's. That's why I will be traveling to the United States. Second question I was asked was, how many schools did you apply to? I told her I applied to 2 different schools, and I told her the names of the school. The third question I was asked was, who was going to be sponsoring my education and who was going to be paying for my flights and everything. So I told her my parents would be taking care of all of that, and I told her what they do. After that, she went through my profile, and I think she saw that I have been to the United States before. So this was when like the whole interview changed for me. So she asked me, what did I do during my last trip to the United States? And I told her, oh, I went for sightseeing. When I told her I went sightseeing, I told her places I visited, the things I did and everything. Then she said, who paid for my flights when I traveled earlier on? I told her my parents paid for it. Then she asked me, where are my siblings? This is where it gets tricky for me, because you know, like a lot of people have said that if you don't have like enough strong ties, you can be denied, because none of my siblings are in Nigeria. My brother is in Canada, my sister is in the UK. So she asked me where are my siblings, and I told her, oh, my brother is studying for his master's in Canada, and my sister is doing her residency as a doctor in the UK. So I gave all that information, and she asked me again, what do my parents do? So I told her what they do, and I think that was it for my interview. And the next thing she just said was, congratulations, I will be approving your visa. So now you guys see why I said that everybody's journey is different when it comes to this whole visa interview thing, because the questions that you might be asked might be tailored around you. It might be like tailored around you and like specific questions. So I started getting a lot of questions regarding my traveling because I have been to the United States before. That is why it's always important for you to fill your DS-160 yourself. And when I was filling my DS-160, there was also the thing of saying, oh, you can't feel and say that you have a relative here in the United States, because it might be like, oh, you are just trying to move or something like that. But in my first application, when I renewed my visitor's visa earlier on last year, I feel that I had an uncle here. So it did not make any sense for me to now feel I had an uncle. Rather, I have an uncle again. So I still filled my uncle. And I answered the question that she asked me. Then she asked me where I stayed when I came the last time. I told her, oh, I stayed with my uncle and everything. So that is why it's important for you to know your own self when you're going for an interview. Know, like, practice questions relating, practice the general questions, but also don't forget to ask yourself like personal questions that you think that you would be asked. My interview changed when she realized I had traveled before. So my interview was now tailored around my traveling. It was just asking questions of what I did the last time. Question that I mentioned, Sha, that is why I said it is important for you to know yourself, for your DS-160 yourself. I know that everybody's journey is different, because the questions they asked me, you might not get asked those questions, because I did not really get any question on why am I studying this course, what do I intend to do with this course, what is my what they call that thing, when I'm done with school, what are my plans. I did not get asked any of those questions. I practiced for them, but they did not ask me. So after my interview, guys, during my interview, when I was talking, I noticed that a lot of people were looking at me, and I think it was because I was really audible. But there and then, I think I said that I've practiced for this thing, and I know that by God's grace, I'm going to get it. So I did not let myself be intimidated by the fact that a lot of people were around me. I was just answering my questions. I made sure I did not overreach, and I made sure I gave enough information. And that's where it gets funny, because a lot of people will tell you, oh, don't talk too much. Some people will say, oh, make sure you give very little information, or some people will say over talk. All I'll just tell you is that when you're asked a question, understand the question that you're asked and give the right answer to the question. And one thing I realized by being in that interview is that the reason why some people get denied, some people don't understand the question that they're being asked, and some people give funny answers. I'm sorry, but some people give funny answers to questions that they asked them. Because I heard some responses that day and I was laughing, and at a point I had to like pinch myself and tell myself that you're here for serious business, you cannot be laughing when you're supposed to be serious. So all I'll say about going for the interview is that prepare for your interview, fill your DS 160 form by yourself, join group chats, prepare very well, and don't let yourself get easily influenced by other people telling you. Yeah, it's good to like get advice and get information from people, but when you're not getting a lot of information and you're not able to filter out what is actually right, that is when the problem starts. So make sure you're able to like filter out the information that you are getting and prepare. Not that when prepare well and just follow your mind and make sure you pray. Because I can remember before they called me, they stepped in, I was just like, I think the most common prayer I say is prayer to my guardian angel. I was just saying prayer to my guardian angel, and luckily for me, my visa was approved and I was happy. I was really excited, and I was like, I kind of like felt that I was going to get approved. I don't know, I think positively. So I applied once and I got approved on my first try, and I went home. So after getting my visa approved, I think then I picked up my visa the following week, something like that. Now after getting your visa, the next step is to book your flights. Don't go and forget, maybe out of excitement or anything like that, next thing I did was to book my flights. I used Lufthansa, and guys, ticket prices were crazy that period. I think it was also because it was like close to December, so price tickets was really expensive. But thank God I booked my flights, and yeah, I booked my flights and I got ready to travel, and I did all of that, and we're here now. So guys, I think this is a detailed process of everything I went through, and I would just say, like I said, I've given like little advice on what I tell people to do. Practice for your interview very well, fill your DS 160 form by yourself. If you are confused about anything, make sure you reach out to people and make sure you ask the right question. If you're confused about anything regarding your school, reach out to your school. And also, after getting my visa, like I said, for my schools, I use my unofficial transcript. For schools that require you to use unofficial transcripts, when you're finally admitted, you would need to provide your official transcripts. I did all of that, and so far so good. By the grace of God, I'm here now, and masters is dealing with me. Not like dealing with me, but it's really tight. It's a lot of work, but thank God I have like a good background. If you went to University of Lagos, not just University of Lagos, you went to pharmacy school, Lutz, Faculty of Pharmacy, University of Lagos, I'm telling you, you can do anything. You can survive in any environment. So I'm here now, and this is my own process. This is how I was able to move from Nigeria to the United States for my master's. If you have any other questions, or if you feel like there are some important details that I left out, please feel free to reach out to me in the comment section. Let's utilize this one video that I have made, because this is it, and I hope that I was able to answer most of the questions that you've been asking. And also, let me add, in case I did not mention it well, I attend IUPUI in Indiana University, Indianapolis. That's the school I attend. And I think somebody asked me a question about like how I was able to like get accommodation before I moved. There's like a portal on my school where people put up lists for their accommodation and all of that. So that was how I was able to get my accommodation before I came over here, and I am here now. And so far I am taking it one day at a time. I'm taking it one step at a time. It's not easy. I mean, being far away from family, being far away from my parents, being far away from my siblings. I have never been someone that has had to like travel far away from home, because even when I was in Unilab, I always used to go back home for every holiday. That thing was mandatory in my father's house. You're on holiday, you're coming back home, and now I am far away from them. So It's not easy, but I try my best. And one tip I would give for people that are far away from home and you might feel lonely, just make sure you try to reach out to your family every day. I speak to my family members every day, and my friends in Nigeria are still my friends. So I'm keeping my family close, I'm keeping my friends close, and they keep me going and they keep me motivated, and they kind of like just remind you of why you're here and why you're doing what you're doing. So times when I'm down, times when I'm sad, or times when I feel lonely, I'm like, oh yeah, I have these people back at home that I can always speak to. I mean, everybody's just like a phone call away. So that is how I am here now. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you found information in this video very useful, and if you need more information on any other thing, please feel free to reach out to me in the comment section. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in another video. Bye.